How's it going? All you Move, Think, Smile followers, everybody inside of our integrative marketing and functional business growth group. And if you're not in our group and you're watching us either on a Facebook business page or over on YouTube or TikTok, anywhere that's other areas, come over to the group. This is where we come live. And today we got a really amazing episode because 2 days from now, I'm going to personally be interviewing one of our clients, Kiki Athanas. And we want to just kind of do this prequel to that interview because Kiki spent 10 years building an audience of 15,000 people. She's what you call an influencer. She's one of those super high energy, very talkative, got the look, got the charisma. And for those 10 years, she could only consider her wellness business, her coaching, as a hobby because she could never make any money at it. And you're going to learn all about that in an interview I do with her in a couple of days. So make sure you look for the event there. It's going to be awesome. But we want to kind of like do a prequel here because what we're seeing is we're seeing a lot of people out there who are, instead of building a business, they're basically building a following of freebie seekers. And that's what Kiki did. So in today's episode, it's going to be amazing. Ellie and I are going to talk about, well, the 5 biggest signs that you're building a following of freebie seekers without even knowing it, and what to do to only attract the kind of people ready to get their health back, ready to get back now, who are tired of managing and mitigating their symptoms. They want wellness and they want to hire you, not tomorrow, but today. And how to do that without needing to do paid advertising, without needing to be a celebrity and fall into that trap, or without having to blitz social media. Elia, so let's talk about this thing that we call the celebrity trap. When does that happen? What is that thing?
Well, I mean, I think it's something we can all fall into because we want to grow our businesses, and part of that is marketing. So it feels like, okay, part of marketing is becoming known. It is becoming, kind of a mini celebrity in your niche or in your specialty, right? And so it can be easy to fall into this feeling of, well, if I just get more followers, or if I just get more views, or if I just get more XYZ, that, that's what's really going to fuel good growth in my business.
Right. And so we sit back and we think, and I'm not really sure where this came from. Well, I guess I can go back. Like if you go look at the good old early days, about 15 years ago, of internet marketing, which is when it really started to pick up. I mean, yeah, I know the internet's been around longer than that, but it really started to pick up. If you look at when Facebook really started to hit, it was between 2006 and 2010. It started to become popular, and this whole thing of like YouTube came out, and channels and all these things, and content is king was always the things. Like the more content you have, you got to get out there, you got to blog, you got to vlog, you've got to email, you got to build these lists, you've got to do all these things in order to grow your business and to do it online. And while, don't get me wrong, having an audience can be a very effective strategy, but what Kiki was able to do after 10 years of being able to not really make any money, and she had to work other jobs in order to support her coaching habit, and she works with eating disorders, which is super cool. You'll learn about that too, is, we changed just a few things. And in 7 days, the first 7 days of working with her, by following what we're going to talk about today, she was able to turn her coaching business into a high-end, I'm talking high-end, 4-figure price tag, eating disorder program, and enroll her very first client, and didn't need to work those jobs anymore, which is super cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about we're gonna kind of highlight 5 different areas that we want you to think about if this is you or not. So we're gonna give you 5 things, right, that are very common when you're falling into the trap. And if you can say yes to 3 or more of these things, then you've fallen into the trap. And like I said, even the best of us with the best intentions as far as building our business can fall into this trap. Right. So we want you to kind of see if you recognize yourself in some of these. So Adam, you want to kick us off with the first one, or shall I get started?
You do it. I'm typing a little thing in right here.
Okay. All right. So perfect. All right. So the first thing we want you guys thinking about is, are you waking up every morning to check to see how many followers you've gained from the day before? Right. And you have this like bulldog determination that you are going to build this audience organically without spending any money on advertising. Like you just feel like I'm going to dig in and I'm going to do this because you've seen other people do it before and you're just like, why can't, like, if they can do it, I can do it. And so you just kind of have this dogged determination that you are going to build this big following. And it feels like that is the next step for growth in your business. So I want you to think about that. If you're waking up and it's like the first thing on your mind.
I call this rock star syndrome,
Mhm.
right? We're all online. We see people out there doing videos. We see people building these channels, and we can talk about some of the bigger ones in like the marketing and sales industry, like the Garys out there, and they're doing stuff. And we see that and we think that we've got to do what they do. And you have to remember that it's not the strategy that makes or break the business. Sure, Gary Vaynerchuk can get out there and spend like 10 grand a year on marketing, which sounds like a lot to some people, but in the grand scheme of things, when you have a multi-million dollar business, that's nothing. But he spends a lot of sweat equity building this channel, and he's got personality, he's got charisma, he says shocking things, and people follow him, and he's built that up. But it's taking him a long time to get there, like more than a decade.
Mhm.
And when we see other people out there and just seeing them on TV, seeing them on our phones, seeing them in video automatically makes us want to be a celebrity, right? We want to have that celebrity. I mean, who doesn't want to be on TV? I mean, there's a few people who probably don't, but most people are like, yeah, it'd be really cool to be on TV. It'd be really cool to be in a movie. I'd love to be an actor. I'd love for people to, see me. I'd like to be on stage, It doesn't matter if you have stage fright or not. There's always something in the back of us that says, yeah, I want to be out there. I want to be that celebrity. But I can tell you right now, when it comes to growing your business, it is a strategy. Like I say, any marketing strategy can work, but I could tell you in health and wellness, it's not really the way to go because this is a very different industry.
Yep, absolutely. Totally hear that, Adam. And I think, that's where you want to be looking. So are you kind of stuck in there? The second one is, if you're racking your brain, you're like, you're driving in traffic, you're stuck in traffic, you've got a lot of stuff to do today, and you're racking your brain to try to come up with yet another catchy video that you can maybe put on TikTok where you're like, oh, look at this word and look at that word and look at this word and look at that word. And you're even asking maybe your assistant or other people to come up with some, inspiring, catchy quotes, right? So it's like your brain is so focused on trying to create that next catchy video. Again, I think this is another easy trap we can fall into because we start to not focus on the things that are really powering the business forward, and we just start focusing on how can I get more likes.
This is very important. And this is what we follow. It's like, okay, I've got to post. I got to come up with the next thing. I got to come up with the next thing. I got to come up with the next thing. And I
Mhm.
can tell you right now, it's like you get your messaging down and you're saying the same thing in different ways. That's what's really important. It's not about how much content you produce. And I understand where this one comes from because in the good old days of search engine optimization, Google content is king. And so Google liked to reward websites by putting them higher in the search engine for having relevant content.
Yeah.
Well, that used to work really well back in the day, but now there are so many people out there creating channels and stuff like that. It's really tough for content to become king anymore. Is it a strategy that can work? Yes. But man, you've got to be around for like 5 to 10 years. You got to have a major website. And if you think that content is going to get you into the search engine index on the first, second, third, or even 15th page as a small health and wellness business, come again. Even the big guys have trouble getting into the first page of this stuff. It's really weird. Nobody understands the algorithms. And honestly, we don't even do a search engine strategy when it comes to that. So we don't even think about building an audience. We don't think about building anything. I mean, we have a group, right? But is it like, it's not about building a following. It's about supporting people. It's about giving back. And so it's a tiny nuance, but it is a big nuance at the same time. So yeah, if you're sitting there and you're racking your brain trying to come up with the next TikTok video, the next reel on Instagram, the next thing that you're going to post to your followers, that's a giant sign that you're building a following of freebie seekers and you're not building a business.
Yep. Now, the third one that we have here is, you're searching on the internet for tips on how to increase your social media engagement on your posts, right? So this is like a dark hole that is like, it's endless. Like the tips are endless online. It's a never ending like reel of things that you can do, right? And so then again, now suddenly you're so obsessed with trying to figure out how to get that engagement that we often tend to start like handing out tons of stuff for free, which attracts a lot of freebie seekers.
Sort of. When you give stuff away for free, people want free stuff. That's the people you're
Mhm,
going to attract.
mhm.
So we'll talk about the antidote to this. And this is another thing Kiki was doing. And I'm actually pulling up our group right now because I want to show everybody. If you haven't seen the post or the event, come over to this and you'll see this image right here. I'm going to share it. Let me get there's my mouse. There it is. Let's share this guy so you guys can come to the event because this is an interview that I'm doing with Kiki Athanas. She was a wellness coach that built a following of 15,000 over 10-year period and had a hobby. She did not have a business. And I think it's really important that we kind of highlight that. Where to go here? Let's see if I've got the right one. I think it's this. Yes, there it is. All right. So this is the post you guys can see. Come into the group and find it. Move, Think, Smile, Integrated Marketing, Functional Business Growth. Click the get reminders or going to the event. You'll get reminders that it's going live. It'll be this Thursday at 1 p.m. in the group. We'll be going and streaming that interview. So when you're racking your brain trying to come up with this stuff, and you're searching the internet for tips on how to increase your engagement, what you're doing is you're going for vanity. And vanity is the absolutely worst thing that you want to do when you're building your business. Vanity means you're looking for you're looking for likes. You're looking for people to put emojis on your stuff. You're looking for people to interact to your stuff. I can tell you right now, when it comes to not only Move, Think, Smile in the ads and the marketing that we do for our fatigue and burnout program, but for our business side of things, which we're talking about here, but also with the clients that we work with in the functional integrative space, we don't look at any of that stuff. In fact, they're probably, if you were to rate it on a social media scale, they're probably some of the worst performing things that we put out there because they don't get engagement, they don't get likes, they don't get comments. But you know
Yeah.
what they do get? Cash flow, and a ton of it. They get the right kind of people showing up at the door who have a major health or wellness issue. And it doesn't matter if you're like Kiki, who has an eating disorder business and helps people with that, or if you're like some of our other people like Ed and Lou who work with diabetes. That's the people that show up and actually hire you. And that's what we want to do. So that's a big sign that you're building a following of freebie seekers. What's number 4, Elio?
Okay, so number 4, this is where, again, you see other practitioners that are in your niche, in your specialty, and you're wondering, okay, how did she get that many followers, right? And so what you're trying to figure out is now suddenly you're like stalking their content and you're scrolling through and you're just trying to figure out like, what am I missing? What am I missing, right? So now it's just like, again, there's that feeling of there's got to be the answer in here somewhere. And so you're just scroll, right? So again, here it's like we're trying to find the answer like the needle in a haystack, right? And again, this is, yes, it can be good to know what other people are up to in your arena. However, this can be again a place that you can get lost for a very long time. And it's tough to figure out really if you're going to find that missing piece in someone else's content.
Yeah, well, it's not only how did they get that many followers, you're also secretly going back. I see what's her face has got a new channel on TikTok. Do I need one?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
the
what you're thinking in the
comparisons start coming
background.
in. Yeah, yeah.
And if you're just joining us, yeah, any marketing strategy can work. And that's the gosh honest truth. But honestly, when it comes to health and wellness, and especially integrated and functional and holistic and all this cool stuff that we're doing, where we're really helping people transform their health for the long term, you don't need that stuff. You just don't. You don't need a website. You don't need any fancy platforms. You don't need any fancy software. The only thing you really need is, you need to know how to help people. Number one. Number two, you should probably have email. That's going to work. And that's pretty much it. Like
Mhm.
that's how you can really run things. Obviously, there are things called efficiencies of scale, and having the right apps and having the right tech stack and stuff like that can make the process a lot smoother. But in the beginning, most of the people that we work with start with an email system, right?
Yep.
And that's how they're pulling in 10, 15, 20 grand a month just by, building a business and not a collection of freebie seekers.
Yep,
Elliot.
absolutely.
So
And
what's
this
the what's the, I was gonna say, what's the fifth sign here that people
yeah.
are falling into the celebrity trap?
Yeah. So this last one again is just see if you can see yourself in this mindset, which is just, you're kind of thinking it's like, okay, even if if their Kardashians make you squirm a little bit because you're like, how are these people so famous and like why? But you wonder, it's like if I could just wake up to like 1% or 0.00% of the followers that this woman has, that you don't even know why she has them, because like what is she, what is she really doing here? Then, and it's like without having a celebrity family backing you, then yes, you are probably falling into the celebrity trap. It's like, okay, if I could just get a little bit of this piece, if I could just have a percentage of that, then I would be able to grow my business in a way that's super, super powerful. Again, this one speaks to a little bit more of just kind of falling into that thing of, again, I have to be this level of greatness before I can get anywhere. And so again, that's just a big warning sign that we're really just barking up the wrong tree. So a lot of these are thoughts that you've ever, if you've caught yourself thinking three or more of these, then there's a good chance you are in this trap.
Well, if you're even doing one of them, I mean, honestly, if you go back to the five signs, quick recap. You
Yeah.
wake up every morning checking to see how many followers you gained from the day before. Number two, you rack your brain trying to come up with the next catchy video for TikTok or reel for Instagram. Number three, you're searching for the internet on tips on how to increase your engagement. Number four, you see other practitioners in your niche. How did they get that many followers? I see what's her name, got a new funnel. Do I need one? And then number five, even though Kim Kardashian makes you squirm, you wonder how you could wake up to just 1% of the number that she has. So those are five signs that you're not building a business. Instead, you're building a following of freebie seekers. So
Yep.
LA, let's kind of flip the coin here. Let's
Yep.
let's turn this on its head. What are the three things that somebody can do today to grow the business instead of collecting a bunch of freebie seekers?
Yeah. So I think the first biggest thing is we have to stop just creating tons of content to try to get more followers. And we have to actually start speaking the troubles and the struggles that your ideal clients are having on a daily basis, right? We really have to stop talking about like living your best life, because if you want to get paid like the best, you need to specialize like the best. And you really need to specialize in what your message is. And again, we just see so many people when it comes to the messaging that again, it's too broad. Like you're just trying to speak to everyone. And so really if you want to really start growing, you got to start speaking to the problem and speaking to it very clearly.
Now, this is a great thing. So let's take two very well-known people out there. We have Dr. Andrew Weil. So most of the people in the functional and integrated world should know who this guy is. And we have Dr. Daniel Amen, who most
Mhm.
of the people in the functional and integrated world who should know that guys. Guess what? They're both doctors.
Yep.
But do they do the same thing? Nope. Andrew Weil specializes in nutrition, not just nutrition, but a diet, not just a diet, but the anti-inflammatory diet.
Mhm.
Dr. Daniel Amen specializes in brain health, not just brain health, but anti-aging, right? He does all the brain mapping and all that kind of cool stuff. So it's really learning how to, yeah, speak your message. And if you're out there saying, be the best you that you can be, stop. Just please. No one's going to buy your stuff. You might be able to sell it for 50 bucks, maybe $100, but are you going to transform lives? Probably not, because it means something different to everybody out there. So that's a tip for the day.
Yep.
Ellie, what's the second thing that somebody can do today to actually build the business instead of a collection of freebie seekers?
Well, the second thing is also a bit about messaging too, which is really talking how people think. And this is something that, we share a lot about as far as our methodology goes. But it's really, if we had to boil it down in a nutshell, it's not speaking to your audience like practitioners would speak to each other professionally, but actually, how are your potential clients talking about their problem at the coffee shop, right? And do they really know a lot of the words that you're tossing around? Things like microbiome, leaky gut, HPS, HP axis, liver chi and things like that. Do your clients really know those words, and is that how they speak? Right? So it's really important. We can fall into this trap of let me make sure that I really sound like an expert and a professional by using words that our clients actually don't use.
And
So
this is really, I want to stack on this. Is really important because what people don't realize in the health and wellness industry, and this is one of the reasons it's so different, because we're speaking to people who aren't feeling well. If they're overweight, they want to lose weight. If they're not fit, they want to be fit. If they got GI issues, they're not feeling good. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter if we're dealing with a disease, a dysfunction, a syndrome, or whatever you want to call it. They're not feeling good. Guess what? They're not processing collegiate language.
Yeah, yeah,
They're-
very right. Very
this is not English 901. They're not going to get there. This is not even English 101. We're
true.
talking like second, third grade. So when we're getting out there and we're positioning our clients, you've got to talk like people think. What's resonating in the back of their heads? What's the verbiage that's going on back there? And that's what we really specialize in. This is a process that Ellie and I have worked on for a very long time in copywriting, not just copywriting, but it has to transfer not just into like your post and your ads and emails and things that you're writing, but it has to transfer over into your conversations too. And this is
Mhm.
a skill that most people think, oh, if I just got the right ad, everything would be gravy. It's not. You're going to have to talk to people before they hand you a credit card, right? I mean, sure, you could build a recurring revenue do-it-yourself course for maybe $9.97, but I can guarantee you, you're going to have a 3% success rate and 97% success rate. So you
Yeah.
want a bunch of money coming in where people aren't doing your thing and having transformation? I mean, maybe that's your thing. That's cool if it is. For me, it's not cool with me. I want to make sure that the clients we work with are having amazing transformations. So that's why we want to be able to talk like they think, to get them to resonate with what's happening. They understand that we're listening to what they're dealing with, and they understand that we are the best, or our clients are the best people on the planet to help them with their health and wellness problem.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's number 3. If you're not doing that, you're probably building a following of freebie seekers.
Yep.
And Elliot, that leads us to number 3,
Yeah,
right?
so that was number 2, so now we're into number 3, and so really here, we want to encourage you to change people's perspective on the problems that they're experiencing, the health issues that they're experiencing, because I want you to think about how so many of us, when we aren't feeling well and it's been going on for a long time, we can start to sugarcoat things and or feeling bad becomes the new normal. So, what often happens is people just kind of start fantasizing about fixing the problem, but don't actually take any action to do that. So, we really want to encourage you to help shift people's perspective about the problem that they're experiencing. And what we mean by that is, again, you got to get down and start realizing, okay, what are they thinking on a daily basis is going to fix this problem that is actually making things worse? Right? What are the ways in which they're actually shooting themselves in the foot? How are they thinking about these things in a way that is making things worse? So again, we want you to think, how can I shift my client's perspective? Not how can I give them more recipes, more detoxes, more challenges, more stretching videos, more exercises that will hopefully get them to see how valuable I am so that then they want to work with me, right? Because again, we're coming back to the more things you give away, the recipes, the detoxes, the things like that, the more you're training your audience to just take the free stuff
Yeah.
versus how can we shift their perspective so that they actually take action on this in a powerful, powerful way.
That is the concept of move, think, smile. In our business, right? With the people that we're getting out there attracting, freebie seekers just want free stuff, right? So we end up, we feel obligated to give them a recipe or an exercise or a breathing technique or a meditation, something or other. Next thing you know, we're handing out band-aids when these people actually need surgery, quote unquote, right? They don't need that stuff. They need help. They're dealing with a health or wellness issue. So they really need a functional, integrative, holistic approach in order to overcome the healthcare system, which has kept them stuck managing and mitigating the symptoms, right? Where the diseases always get worse. They just do. I'm not knocking our hospital system, our healthcare when it comes to trauma and breaking bones and car wrecks and falling off of mountains and stuff like that. Man, we need them. They're phenomenal at saving lives when it comes to that. But as we know, when it comes to like lifestyle diseases, stuff that they're not trained in, this is where functional integrative medicine, nutrition, exercise, all that stuff excels. And if you want to build a following of freebie seekers, well, you can go out there and do what Kiki did, right? She went out there for 10 years and she did all these things, right? She thought about all the stuff that she needed to post. She looked for get engagement. She was looking at numbers, right? She was comparing herself to other big celebrities, thinking if I could just get a percentage of what they got, everything would be gravy. And it wasn't. And remember to come check out the interview I'm going to have with her this coming Thursday at 1 p.m. in the group, because she's going to detail exactly how she went from this health business thing that she always wanted to have, which became a hobby for 10 years, to actually enrolling her first client 7 days, just 7 days after launching a high-end, and I'm not kidding, high-end eating disorder program. And that's super specific there. So the things that you could do to avoid building this freebie seeking audience, right? Instead, build this business. Speak directly to the struggles of the problem. Number one. Number two, talk like people think. Number three, change people's perspective on the problem. That is, get them to move boldly. Number one. Number two, get them to think differently. And then number three, show them your talents and get them to smile more because their health is just transformed for the rest of their lives and they're singing your praises.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you do it. That's how you do it. So anybody watching this right now, if that is something you would like to do, you want to get out there, you want to tip the scales from sickness to wellness, and maybe just maybe you would like to have a healthy health company along the way, Elliot and I invite you to come over to movethinksmile.com/apply. And it says apply because, well, it's an application. So we do offer free business consults for integrative marketing and functional business growth, but we just don't hand them out to anybody. So you go to that link, there's a form, you fill it out. If you qualify, you'll be taken to a calendar. You can book a consult. If you don't qualify, you won't be taken to the calendar. That's how it works. So just so you know who this is for, you've got to be in the realm of functional, integrative, holistic wellness and health. Okay. If you're out there just selling, and I mean transformation, you got to transform and help solve a major life, health, or wellness problem. Now that could be in the physical realm, right? Back pain, like Ravinder, who we just enrolled from the UK. That could be a mental, emotional thing, like eating disorders, like Kiki's doing, which we'll be talking about on Thursday. It could be, even just like performance, mental, emotional, like, or a combination of those three. So there's all kinds of things that this can work for. But if you're out there and you just want to sell essential oils, we're not for you.
Yeah.
Okay. If you just want to do multi-level marketing, this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about really helping people transform their health. And as you know, Elia, which you came up with the post, you came up with the idea. What's our goal for this year?
21,600. That is the number of people we'd like to impact this year.
Yeah. And I will say we'll be doing a live workshop coming up here in the next couple of weeks as well. So be on the lookout for that. We'll be announcing it here in the group specifically, and you guys will get priority access because we've got about 100 seats available. Once that fills up, Zoom fills up, we're done. That's all we can accept. So you guys get first come, first serve on that. In the meantime, if you would like to grow your business instead of building a following of freebie seekers and actually have something that has cash flow, has impact, and it's not a hobby anymore, come on over to movethinksmile.com/apply. On that note, Elliot, any other parting shots for today?
No, I think that's it. I mean, like I said, I think, I just really encourage everybody to think about your relationship with social media and followers and where you're sitting right now. And again, if it feels like you're just collecting instead of growing, then definitely we'd love to, have a chat and just see if we can help you break out of that trap.
Yeah. And that 21,600 number. So the math is simple. If we help 15 practitioners every month get 10 clients, right? That's about 150. And if we compound that over the year, it ends up being 21,600. That's the number of lives that we can change this year. But you're not going to do it by building a following of freebie seekers. You're going to do it by having a business that speaks to people's health and wellness problems. Obviously, you got to be talented. You got to know what you're doing. You've got to be able to help people. So it doesn't matter if you're in the realm of diabetes or back pain, if you're in the realm of incontinence or erectile dysfunction, if you're in the realm of lupus or menopause. If you have the skills, the ability to help somebody overcome a major health or wellness challenge, come over to movethinksmile.com/apply, and let's see if we can help you have that impact while having a healthy health company. All right, everybody. I'll see you guys on Thursday when I interview Kiki Athanas. Until then, take care, everybody. Come on over to the link and let's chat soon.